My name is Mike Dark.
And I am Richard Wagoner.
We're back.
Do exactly as we say and no one gets hurt.
Welcome to episode 2 of our Radio Waves reboot, Radio Waves and Other Noises. My name is Mike Stark.
And I'm Richard Wagoner.
We continue our journey through the modern history of LA radio with the late LAradio.com historian Don Barrett. This time we discuss the growth of top 40 radio in LA with the rise of KFWB and KRLA.
On KFWB, Channel 98, Color Radio, Channel 98.
You mentioned that you started the basis of the book with KFWB and KRLA. What did those two stations mean to you?
Well, what was happening back in the 50s, there was this transition period where every black song that was popular would be covered by a white artist. So for an example, Fats Domino would have a hit, I'm Walking, and then Rick Nelson would cover it. And there was this conflict for white America. Would they buy a black song by a black artist? And indeed, there was a whole growing resurgence of people saying, wait a minute, I don't want to hear a cover version. I want to hear the original. So what was happening in radio prior to KFWB is that you would have stations playing it almost in block programming. By that, they may be 3 hours of rock, then 3 hours of cooking shows, and 3 hours of travel, who knows, and then maybe rock and roll later on. But what happened on January 2nd, 1958 really revolutionized Los Angeles radio. They standardized it. A man by the name of Chuck Bloor came into Southern California, and he standardized 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, rock and roll top 40 radio. And so from that point on, it just skyrocketed into the consciousness of what contemporary radio is today with KISS FM.
Fabulous 40 is the name applied to gems spun by the DJs at Color Channel 98. These 40 frothy figments are selected by way of a regularly scheduled weekly plebiscite, during which the 7 DJs are huddled over twirling turntables until both sides of every record received at the station are given an attentive hearing and are either voted onto the playlist or are jettisoned by unanimous apathy. KFWB's DJs are organized into a cohesive, mutually supporting crew of sprightly performers, several of whom are masters at impersonation.
Listen and relax while you're spinning the wax. There's really something special in you. Hear your favorite song while you're driving along from Elliott Field to you. In your car, in your home, at work or play, Elliott Field will brighten your day on KFWB, Channel 98.
Hello, everyone, with Mayhem in the P-Hem and a cast of thousands. This is the Elliott Field Frolic.
Bill boy,
Well, this is Balance, and here's my throbbing conscience.
be a whole lot better off if you went out and got a good job somewhere.
Where you really go for the Bill Balance Show, and you stay in the know with Bill Boy. All the cats wail and blow on the Bill Balance Show. It's the only way to go with Bill Boy. He'll give you dynamite and violence, discussion and percussion, witticisms, musicisms on KFWB. Stay with the Bill Balance Show, where the pop records roll into hits that you know with Bill Boy. That's Balance Day.
Yes, ma'am. That was Gloria Wood from the Johnny Man Singers. This is Bill Balance, and for the benefit of you people whose radios are turned off, this show will not be heard tonight. Carol Hughes in Color Hues, presented from Old Bill to Use.
Lend me a coat, it's time to go home. I gotta confess. for those who dig modern.
Those who dig pop, I'm laying down all this jazz for you.
Pick up on the Newbury Cold C2 on Channel 98, Channel 98. Your host, Theodore, Ted Cruz.
Hello, somebody. How you?
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain.
Oh, Jerry Lee Lewis and Great Balls of Fire. There's a real ripper-upper for this time of the morning. A friend of mine was telling me about having his nose altered, and he said he walked into the doctor and said, "What would you charge to alter my nose?" And the doctor said, $500. He said, "Gee, don't you have anything cheaper?" And the doctor said, "Well, you might try walking into a wall."
No KFWB disc jockey regards himself or is so regarded as an endless fount of wisdom. No rambling free association soliloquies. No pronunciamentos from on high-fi. They're all bright and nimble-witted, virtually pawing the ground in their anxiety to entertain, inform, and convince 6 million Angelinos of the obvious fact that KFWB is the greatest thing since home relief.
We spot the hits and we hit the spot in the new and exciting way. On Color Radio, to tomorrow's hits today.
There's a fabulous 40 and hi-fi.
Hot off the wire news. The changes in the weather from a weatherman. And the latest in sports reviews. Color Radio, on KFWB. Channel 98.
Be Mitchell Reed.
BMR was with KFWB before Chuck Bloor got there. He had a jazz show and an all-night show that he used to play Frank Sinatra. In fact, it was not infrequent that he would devote his entire 6 hours to playing Frank Sinatra. Chuck Bloor comes along and says, "We're going to go top 40 rock and roll." And B. Mitch said, "You'll die. You'll just, it'll never work," and this and that and so forth, and I don't want any part of it. Chuck Bloor said, "Give me 30 days, and I will make you the biggest thing in Southern California radio." And he did, and both did. And just became not only a superstar in top 40 radio, but then went off into album-oriented rock radio.
Nothing says Merry Christmas like KFWB money. And here's another name from under the KFWB Christmas tree.
That's right. The name happens to happens to belong to Carolyn Simpson. Do you believe me? Carolyn Simpson there of Sedan Avenue in Canoga Park. We're not announcing the full address, honey, because you got to check in during the next 3 minutes there. Carolyn Simpson of Sedan Avenue, Sedan Avenue in Canoga Park there. Carolyn Simpson, Hollywood 1. 9340. You got 3 minutes to check in, honey. Hollywood 1 and 9340. Carolyn Simpson of Sedan Avenue, Canoga Park, and you'll win $9.80 of cash, baby.
You now have 3 minutes to call and win a KFWB Christmas money check for $9.80. If you haven't entered, send a Christmas card or any card will do. The KFWB Christmas tree. KFWB Hollywood 90028.
It's going to be a green Christmas for people all over KFWB country, and it could happen to you. Yes, Carolyn Simpson, it could happen to you. This could be your day of Sedan Avenue in Canoga Park, Hollywood 19340. On here come the sounds of the change in timers. It's now number 8 on the Good Guy list. It's third. Make that 18 before 8 on KFWB. A little bit better stuff lunges this morning. And while the rest of the cats were, having themselves a little scene with themselves over in the hotel room, there was a ball running and playing last night with this cat right here.
Hi, this is Brian Jones here at the Rolling Stones. I want to thank the lead at BMR for playing all our records and doing everything for us.
You better believe it. We were there to the trip and had a ball. By request, Barry Young. On the Stone music here. Old face style. My name, the altar has my heart. You always shop at Ralph's. You hear me, love? It's right now 8 pennies in front of the R8 on KFWB Christmas money time. Awfully sorry about that. They're Carolyn Simpson of Sedan Avenue in Canoga Park. Didn't check in. They allowed a 3 minute. As a matter of fact, you didn't check in until 15 minutes there. I mean, she's still sleeping there. Could have had herself $9.80 in cash for the Christmas money tree bit there. And someone can get themselves a top 10 records. The first part of our Zap code. If you haven't got your Zap code, send away for free Zap code, and I'll send you one there. And we have a Zap code every morning there, whenever I remember to do it. The first part of the Zap code today is open code. Lord Timothy is A. Lord Timothy is A. I'll give you the closed code part of it later on right now. Let us hear the sounds of, what's his name? Yes. 12th call from anywhere, Hollywood 19434. Hollywood 19434, the 12th call from anywhere there. Name and clearness number 12, sound the good guys, survey KFWB. There's a name claim record there. 12th call from anywhere, Hollywood 19434. Right. There we are.
KFWB, Channel 90.
Okay, here we go. Down Weeds Road to meet the Dr. Schlink a bit. There you go.
Here again is Dr. Sigmund Schlinke, the eminent analyst. And today, Dr. Schlinke, a young mother in Brentwood, wants to know how to determine what occupation her children will be best fitted for.
Yeah, we have a test with that.
That's very interesting. I mean, could you give us an example of how it works?
Well, we take 3 boys. We give one boy a toy airplane, and the other boy a toy fire engine, and the third boy a copy of the Playboy magazine.
I see. And I presume the one with the plane wants to be a pilot when he grows up.
That's right, yeah. And the one with the fire engine wants to be a fireman when he grows up.
Yeah, but what about the one with the Playboy magazine?
He just wants to grow up.
KFWB.
Oh, Dr. Schlink, he's done it again. Meet Dr. Schlink with the leader BM every morning here on Reeves Road. 20 after the hour of 8 on KFWB here. Have the 18th call from anywhere, Hollywood 19340. 18th call from anywhere is the name claim record, Hollywood 19340. Uh-oh. Get something else, Doc, when they're putting you away.
And, of course, he started his top 40 work here at KFWB, but left and went to New York, didn't he, for a while, and was one of the WMCA good guys.
Right.
And really became a star back there.
Well, a number of people have made that transition back and forth, but generally what happened back in those days, either you were big in L.A. or you were big in New York.
Yeah.
Now, the Beamer was able to do both.
And be able to transfer from an AM top 40 mentality to later on KMET and the album-oriented rock mentality, which not many people made that transition either.
Not at all, and I think it shows the versatility and talent that he was able to go from the bells and whistles and cowbells that you just heard to a very low approach. And he did his homework. He knew who the artists were, and he could communicate with the young people.
And then KRLA followed suit.
Radio 1110, KRLA. KRLA.
Have fun outdoors, but be sure to take along your radio. Set to listen to the ever-loving 1110 men on ever-refreshing 1110. KRLA.
Stand by, Los Angeles. KRLA proudly presents the Bob Eubanks Show on Radio 1110. KRLA.
Gassy way to start a day when you say with Bill Haley and the Comets rocking around the clock, and that's exactly what we're going to do for the next 6 hours. Rock around the clock until 6 o'clock in the morning. 3 minutes after 12 o'clock is our happy time. It says here, you were to immediately start telling everybody that Roy Elwell is the lucky 1110 man that's going to spend the Halloween night in the haunted house. So good luck to Roy Elwell in the haunted house, and you stay tuned to KRLA for all the happenings. We'll find out what happens to Roy. Wonder what kind of music we can play for Roy tomorrow night. Let's see, I don't stand a ghost of a chance with you, or you must have been a beautiful ghoul.
Dean Martin on KRLA. Everybody loves somebody sometime. KRLA Big Time. 15 minutes before 2 o'clock. Remember, all night long tonight, Arlen Sanders from midnight until 6 in the morning will feature Beatles sounds. I'll have the Beatles next.
Have you heard about the wonderful difference in copper tone? And she used my copper tone.
It's 35 days till B-Day in Los Angeles. 35 days till KRLA brings the Beatles to L.A.
KRLA Casey Kasem program, a Saturday afternoon, #1 for fun.
I got every reason on earth to be mad.
I'll cry instead. The Beatles on KRLA from a hard day's night. And now there are more than 80 Jack-in-the-Box drive-thrus throughout Southern California every evening from 6 until 9 with plenty of entertainment for you. And saluting those 2 teen toppers every evening, Bobby Eubanks on KRLA. And then every Sunday he unveils the KRLA Tune Decks from noon until 3 and again from 3 until 6. A Sunday doubleheader with Bob Eubanks and then Monday through Friday from 6 to 9. Here's a tune that's doing very well nationally. It's a big hit sound.
and KRLA is just beginning to play. I think you're going to like it. It's done by the guy who used to call himself the Duke of Earl. His real name is Eugene Dixon, but he chooses the professional name of Gene Chandler. It's called Baby Just Be True.
Castells on the Hullabaloo Dave Hope program at 13 past 4 o'clock. 4:13 now. KRLA request time.
To Dodger Stadium. Hurry, time is running out. Dodger Stadium becomes Beatles Stadium Sunday night, August 28th. There's still time to get tickets to see the Beatles, but better hurry to a nearby Wallach's Music City store or one of the mutual ticket agencies in Southern California. It's too late now to order your tickets by mail. See the Beatles Sunday night, August 28th, 8 p.m. at Beatles Stadium. KRLA.
Our request lines have been buzzing for this one. Most requested tune this hour, number 1.
Went to the fortune teller.
Well, a whole host of requests for that one. Your most requested tune this hour, the Rolling Stones for Sandy from Gary. Fortune Teller, of course, that's for Nick Moswell of Anaheim, where it's 80 degrees, and Billy Smith of Downey, where it's 87 degrees. And the Hullabaloo here, where it's now 48 degrees, because I'm air-conditioned at 8 minutes before 5. KRLA request time.
KRLA came in September of 1959. And they two battled each other back and forth
throughout most of the 60s.
Throughout most of the 60s.
Yeah.
And what had happened, it was kind of interesting that KFWB was the first. They probably had the bigger budgets. KRLA had a lot of internal problems with the FCC, which probably prevented them from being real competitors.
Mm-hmm.
But they had some wonderful disc jockeys on the air and personalities. In fact, they brought the Beatles to Southern California.
Of course, Bob Eubanks' famous story, he mortgaged his home to bring the Beatles to Los Angeles to promote that concert.
Well, you go back a year, Hootenannies were big in 62, 63, and KRLA had an annual concert. They did in Pasadena Auditorium. They did a big Hootenanny, all of the big Hootenanny stars. Backstage, they were saying, what do we do next year? And somebody said, well, I heard about this group over in Liverpool, the Beatles. And so somebody from the radio station called and talked to Brian Epstein. And Brian said, California, we can't even get them successful here yet. They're still working out of a cave. He said, but if we ever come there, we'll give you guys a call. Well, moments later, the Beatles explode.
Right.
A number of months later, the call comes from Brian to KRLA. Bob Eubanks takes the phone call. So he did not make the original phone call, but he was the one that got it. He then saw the opportunity, ran with it, and the interesting thing is the caveat for Brian to bring the Beatles to Southern California said that we will only come if we play in the Hollywood Bowl. Now, the Hollywood Bowl had never done rock and roll.
Of course.
This was a first.
Wow.
So how do you convince this very stodgy, and they were doing a lot of symphonies and so forth, to play rock and roll? And they did, and of course, history was made.
The rest is history.
So we began the top 40 battles in LA radio. Next time, a new top 40 player would enter the fray and once again change all the rules. Prepare for a much longer episode next time because we'll be dealing with one of Richard and my favorite all-time stations. Next time, it's the rise of Boss Radio 93 KHJ. Are you having fun with this reboot yet, Richard?
Yes. What an exciting time this was for radio. The kids are getting their music that they want to hear and presented in a way that had never been presented before. This is just exciting. KFWB was such a trendsetter. KRLA, same thing. And then coming up KHJ, there is this is just an exciting time.
Yeah, and we're getting to relive it.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk a little bit before we go today about your reboot. Can you give us any insight into what's coming?
Well, the tentative name is SoCal Radio Waves. I'm going to tie that in with the webpage that I have. And again, I want to focus on the stations and personalities in a positive way. I'll leave the column for some of the stuff that's more traditional for the column, and I think the column does a pretty good job of doing that as well, but also bringing up the important issues. But my focus has always been, what do I like about radio? If I were running something, how would I do it? And hopefully give some inspiration for people to the radio industry has been battered. Hopefully I can give some inspiration for the people to keep doing it.
Well, between the two shows, what we're trying to do is slowly work Richard into a position where I can retire from this and let him carry on. So that's what the spinoff is really all about. And I'm excited about both shows, to be honest with you. I'm having a great time editing this into something great. And I'm looking forward to some career-spanning interviews that we've got lined up, possibly. So hang in there. Thanks for joining us on Radio Waves and Other Noises. Please visit and like our Facebook page. And if you haven't already subscribed to this podcast on Spotify, do it. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye.